It is my privilege to introduce Sonali Biswas, valedictorian of the class of 2014. Sonali joined the Leesville community in 2nd grade, and being at Leesville since kindergarten has given me the opportunity to know Sonali personally. I have known her through playground adventures in elementary school, those awkward middle school moments we all wish to forget, and the high school years in which Sonali truly blossomed into the remarkable young woman she is today. Sonali sets an example as a humble and hardworking leader, public servant, genius, and friend. Sonali's dedication to Leesville, as well as to academics, makes her extraordinary. A well-rounded individual, she makes her mark as the president of the Spanish Club, treasurer of the National Honor Society, founder of the Speech and Debate Club, and member of Executive Council in Spanish National Honor Society. Her beautiful smile and bubbly personality have touched the lives of the school. Outside of Leesville, Sonali excels as a Girl Scout with the Gold Award, a tutor at Mathnasium, and an employee at Duke Clinical Research Institute, where she completed graduate-level research. Sonali's close friends also know her for her obsession with Jeopardy, a TV show that she DVRs nightly. These activities I have listed give just a glimpse of 16-year-old Sonali. She also succeeded in 14 AP classes and received a record 5.34 grade point average during her time at Leesville. Teachers like Senor Ross kept her working hard, but also reminded her that she needed to balance work and play to properly experience high school. About Sonali, Senor Ross says, "She is the same in class as she is out of it. A vibrant, dynamic young woman who is an awesome addition to any group." Sonali is headed off to Duke University this fall, and there is no doubt that she will excel there too in her quest to become a doctor. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the podium Sonali Biswas, Leesville Road High School valedictorian of the class of 2014.
Thank you, Morgan, for that wonderful introduction. Welcome faculty, friends, families, and the class of 2014. What a wonderful week it has been. No homework, no waking up early, and no responsibilities. For 4 years, we anxiously awaited this week, this day. But now that it is here, perhaps we would have minded just a little bit more time together. Through rooting for our sports teams, watching our performers, struggling through senior anthologies, and at least at one point praying for snow days, we have survived high school. Now graduation, I stand in front of you all, honored, humbled, and quite nervous. While cleaning out my room the other day, I came across Shel Silverstein's story, The Missing Piece is the Big O, where the missing piece, a wedge of a shape, searches for another shape that could fit with him. After many failed attempts to meet a companion, the missing piece finds himself helpless and alone. Finally, he meets the Big O, a perfect circle, who reminds him that he is capable of rolling by himself. Indeed, with a little effort and a couple of flops, the wedge-shaped piece transforms into the circle he always wanted to be. Now, like the missing piece, we may encounter other shapes too delicate to handle us, too indifferent to notice us, or missing too many of their own pieces. At times, our attempts to meet our goals will flop. These failures are no vice, however. As Steve Jobs once said, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward, and you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. Whenever our future endeavors seem bright, we must never feel hopeless, for every person in here has something magnificent to share. Like the missing piece, we too have abilities we may take for granted. Intelligence, intuition, unbelievably good looks. We stand now on the threshold of the real world, and we alone must decide whether to use these gifts, whether to gain the fleeting pleasure of pleasing others, or to instead strive for our future goals. When confronted with this decision, we must never settle for anything that does not meet our expectations, for everything is secondary to our dreams. The diverse interests of our student body have shaped the school. Indeed, the Leesville we lead today differs from the Leesville that welcomed us 4 years ago. I stand in front of phenomenal athletes, artists, scholars, As eager as we are to leave now, we will all too soon look back at our years at Leesville and realize that they will have been among the best in our lives. Through lessons both mundane and profound, we have each been given the tools to excel in our lives, and now only some assembly is required. The innumerable achievements of our class would not have been possible without families, friends, loved ones, and teachers. I cannot begin to articulate how grateful I am for my own parents and my older brother. Thank you for tolerating me at my worst to teach me how to be my best. On behalf of the class of 2014, I would like to thank everyone for picking us up and brushing us off when we fell, for celebrating us when we succeeded, and for being our big O when we were scared. Please give them a hand. To my fellow seniors, in spite of our different interests, our different opinions, and our different paths in lives, we've managed to coexist. I'd argue that we've even become a family. Even though we leave high school today, may we never leave behind our laughter, our memories, and our pride. Congratulations to Leesville Road High School's class of 2014. We did it!
When my mom drove me to middle school, every morning on the side of Strickland Road, the principal of West Millbrook would be there. In one hand he'd have a mug, and in the other hand he'd be wildly waving parents out of the carpool lane and into the busy road whenever he saw a gap in traffic. And I remember my mom would say, "I'm so glad that you have a principal who cares." And that principal is now our principal, Dr. A.J. Mutillo. Born in Ridgewood, New Jersey, Dr. Mutillo has worked in Wake County for 17 years as a middle school English teacher and principal, a middle and high school assistant principal, and today as a high school principal. Dr. Mutillo received his bachelor's degree from East Stroudsburg University, his master's degree from North Carolina State University, and his doctorate from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Dr. Mutillo joined our Pride family in May of 2012. And I think that the whole class of 2014 can agree that coming to Leesville Road High School has definitely been the brightest highlight of that career. And I'm sure that Dr. Mutillo agrees as well. Right, Dr. Mutillo? Okay. He's not the only one who cares, though. Sometimes we forget our assistant principals because, unfortunately, many of us only receive the pleasure of speaking with them when the topic is what just happened, why it happened, and the fact that it will never, ever happen again. But Mrs. Joellen Newhouse, Ms. Audra Moody, Mrs. Molly Moore, and Mr. Matt Price have probably each come to more sporting events, more concerts, and more theatrical productions than any single student can claim to have. They give up so much time with their biological families for our Leesville family, and for that we are grateful. Now, this will probably be the last opportunity for many of us to thank our principals. So, for everything they've ever done for us, whether they did so with us knowing or not, let's have a round of applause for our assistant principals and for Dr. A.J. Mutillo.
Congratulations to all the seniors here today, and congratulations to all the families who helped them reach this milestone. The senior class of 2014 is built upon the standard of excellence that has been established and maintained at Leesville Road High School. We are confident they will move forward to be responsible and productive citizens who can effectively manage future challenges and positively represent our school. As we prepare to present the diplomas, we ask that you respect the dignity of the ceremony. Our seniors have worked extremely hard to reach this milestone. Each senior and his or her respective family deserve the right to hear clearly the student's name as it is called. We share your excitement, for we too are excited and happy for your family. But please refrain from clapping, yelling, or calling during the presentation of diplomas, because disruptive noises prevent other families from hearing the names of the seniors that follow. give you the opportunity after each assistant principal's set of names to properly recognize those seniors. Together, let's give our graduates the dignified and special ceremony they and you deserve. After the ceremony ends, please allow the graduates time to recess, and then you may go to the left or right of the stage, behind the wall to meet them. Board of Education Chair Christine Kushner, I certify that the seniors seated before us have met all state and local graduation requirements. Dr. Merrill and esteemed guests, we will now begin with the distribution of diplomas.
Atanuka Leiter Abigail, Christopher Miguel Alberto, Allison Michelle Aldana, Meron Milliken Alem, Angela Kathleen Antrilli, Benaz Arabsada, Lindsay Catherine Arab, Francesca Arminiakos, Kathleen Elizabeth Arnold, Alyssa Elaine Astorina, Carly Ann Astorina, Sarah Elizabeth Atkinson, Yordani Gillian Awono, Patrick Thomas Bacher, Benjamin Lee Bailey, Lauren Catherine Bailey, Shelby Ray Bayholz, Mukendi Jeffrey Bajani, Chris Jeremy Baker, Meredith Kathleen Ball, Julie Gail Barber, Morgan Elizabeth Barnes, Bruce Vodka, Isaac Mitchell Jesus Bates, Deshaun Octavius Bellamy, Jamie Christina Bennett, Jared Scott Ben Ruby, Danielle Christine Benson, Owen Tate Bird, Braxton Lee Barrios, Sarah Jane Bigelow, Paige Nicole Bishler, Alan David Bishler, Meredith Ann Bissett, Sonali Biswas, Zachary Matthew Black, Priscilla Ann Block, Michael Joseph Blomeke, Alexander